Welcome back. The nation's premier arts institution, the Kennedy Center, undergoing significant upgrades to modernize the facility after receiving $257 million in funding from the One Big Beautiful Bill, signed into law by President Trump back on July 4th. Now, Senate Democrats are launching their own investigation into the use of the Kennedy Center's $268 million budget, with Rhode Island Senator Sheldon Whitehouse accusing my next guest in a letter of turning the center away from its core mission. Both of the New York Times and the Washington Post ran articles based on Senator Whitehouse's letter and his claims in that letter. Joining me now with the facts in the Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is the president of the Kennedy Center, Richard Grenell. And a full disclosure before we begin, I am a member of the board of trustees for the Kennedy Center. Rick Grenell, great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Maria.
Senator Whitehouse is making allegations that this has just become a place that President Trump lets his friends use for free. He's talking about FIFA using the space, waiving a rental fee. What do you want to say? What is your response?
Well, my first reaction is that Senator Whitehouse, Rhode Island Democrat, who's on the Kennedy Center board, should show up for some of these meetings. He hasn't been to a single meeting. If he had gone to the meetings, he would understand that President Trump has saved the Kennedy Center. There is no possible way to look at the situation in any other way. The books were a mess when I walked in. We were paying staff with debt reserves. We didn't have money in the bank. It was chaos when it came to programming. What President Trump said is, let's clean it up. And what we've done is two things. We've cleaned up the programming, so it's common sense programming. We haven't canceled a single show. What we've said is, if you're going to come to the Kennedy Center, you need to have a combination of either selling tickets or donors or corporate sponsors. Corporate sponsors and donors fled during the last regime. They didn't want to be a part of some of these woke programs. Now that we have common sense programming, they're coming back. We, in one department, Maria, we cut in development from 94 people to 16 people. That department alone is now outperforming, the 16 people are outperforming the 94 with fundraising. Wow. We have raised $117 million. Literally, we have 3 months more to go in this fiscal year, and they are blowing the doors off fundraising. People are coming back. Now, let me finish with one more point. Arts institutions across the country for years have been having ticket sale problems. What they've been unable to do is attract donors and corporate sponsors to make up the difference. The New York Times alone just did a huge story a couple weeks ago saying Broadway ticket sales are way down, Broadway is dying. And what President Trump has realized is that if arts institutions want to survive across this country, they're going to have to do common sense programming that appeal to not only ticket sales, but also to corporate sponsors and individuals. People will come out and support these programs if it's common sense programming. That's what we're doing at the Kennedy Center. And President Trump is making arts institutions great across this country by giving them literally a blueprint how to survive.
I mean, you would think that the Kennedy Center is a way to bring the country together. You know, I mean, I was talking with some people who are affiliated with artists and musicians there, and he was saying, look, some people are upset because it's once again political. And we're seeing tweets and attacks and politics. Is there a way to use the Kennedy Center to actually lure in art enthusiasts and artistry? Because this could be a way to actually bring the country together.
Well, there's no question about that, and that's what we want to do. We want to remove the politics. But remember, the left has taken over the Kennedy Center in the past. They've made it extremely political. Of course, they cry when we try to bring it to the middle because they're losing their woke programming. I could go through and cite all of the programming that they were wanting to bring to the Kennedy Center. Ticket sales would not even support half of what they're trying to propose. We need to be able to have common sense programming that is appealing to everyone. No politics whatsoever. You should be able to sit next to someone in the theater and not care or know about their politics. That's what we're trying to do. That's what President Trump wants to do. And when you do that, you can attract the donors, the corporate sponsors, and ticket sales. We're showing the country a path of how to save arts institutions.
And Rick, I remember when I first started on the board, there was conversations about phantom revenue. I mean, potential fraud when you walked into this role. Tell us about that. Was there phantom revenue and fraud at the Kennedy Center that you walked into?
Yeah, look, this department of 94 people before I got there, which is now 16 people, they raised $101 million, but $26 million was totally fraud. It was phantom revenue. And what we're trying to do is be really transparent. Maria, you know, when I was director of national intelligence, I tried to be extremely transparent, give Congress what they want. I'm happy to open up our books and show. Our CFO is amazing, and she has made sure that what we're trying to do is completely open and transparent. We don't want any phantom revenue. We don't want to show the board one thing and then have the reality another. I say let the chips fall where they may. They can see exactly what we're doing. I wished Senator Whitehouse would have done a little bit of research before he did a hit job on us. But now that he has highlighted this, we're going to show that he is not only wrong, but that we're doing an incredible job with what President Trump has given us. We're raising more money than ever before, and we're cleaning up the books. We're making the place. If you haven't been to the Kennedy Center, you should come, because the renovations are unbelievable. It's going to be a completely different place. And when we arrived, the place was literally falling apart. I think Senator Whitehouse should propose putting a monument of President Trump at the Kennedy Center, because he literally saved it. I don't care what anyone says. Look at the facts. The place was literally and figuratively falling apart.
Wow.
And he saved it. Donald Trump completely saved this institution, and he should get credit for that.
Final question on this. I want to turn to your time as DNI, but do you want to say anything about the rental fee for FIFA? I know that FIFA is going to be at the Kennedy Center for the 2026 World Cup draw. Are they paying for it?
Oh, yes, they're paying big time. Look, Senator Whitehouse is wrong about just focusing on little rental fees, because rental fees assume that you rent a room and you stay in the room, and that's the whole fee. We couldn't do something like that for FIFA because they were completely taking over the whole place. So we made them do corporate sponsors and give us opportunities to do more sponsors. They're paying roughly $7.4 million in sponsorships by giving us the ability to use them, and they're writing a big check, and they're paying for all of the expenses. This is going to be net positive for the Kennedy Center. If Senator Whitehouse had just attended one single meeting, he would have realized that we're doing the right things. You can't just focus on a rental room, somebody leaking some rental contract. We didn't want to just charge FIFA a rental fee. That would have been an extremely small fee.
Rick, I want to get your take about what has taken place since you were DNI. You're the former DNI. Also, you are presidential envoy for special missions of the United Nations. This last 10 years and this investigation ongoing on whether or not it is a conspiracy, beginning with Russia collusion, where one political campaign, Hillary Clinton, came up with a lie about her political enemy, and it goes viral across the world, to the Hunter Biden laptop, to impeachments, and then 90-plus indictments against President Trump, the Mar-a-Lago raid. What do you want to say about what we have just experienced for 10 years of attacks against this president?
Well, it's clear to me that the bureaucracy led by the Democrats and the press are going to attack President Trump every time he tries to reform Washington. They don't want to reform. They like the system the way it is. And so when you look at the very beginning, when President Trump arrived in 2017, really beginning in 2016 with the election, the intelligence community and others had so many bad apples that they went after President Trump and created the Russian collusion hoax and all of these other things. This video that these Democrat elected officials are doing now is a call to arms to try to get the last remaining few people within the intelligence community, within the bureaucracy, to stand up and fight. I think it is an outrageous video. We should call it out constantly. What they're trying to do is mount an insurrection from within. And President Trump is right to be extremely angry. And I hope that John Ratcliffe and Tulsi Gabbard understand that they've got to dig deep now to figure out how do we stop any of these leaks that are clearly going to be coming.
And you believe the lie that was Russia collusion actually led to the current state of affairs with this Russia war on Ukraine?
Oh, there's no question about that. They have propped up a phony intelligence. It goes back to the early days of Ukraine. And now what you see is a president who's completely focused on trying to find a solution after Joe Biden spent 4 years not talking to Putin and literally digging us into a deeper hole. And we have to dig our way out. And clearly everyone is frustrated with the ongoing war. Thank God we now have a remnants of a peace plan. And what we need to do is work really hard to make sure that both sides accept that. There is no alternative.
And speaking of the peace plan, Marco Rubio tweeted this out. The peace proposal was authored by the U.S. It is offered as a strong framework for ongoing negotiations. It is based on input from the Russian side, but it is also based on previous and ongoing input from Ukraine. Should we be buying that Russia will actually agree and stop the killing at some point, Rick?
Well, look, if anyone can do it, President Trump can do it. You've got Steve Witkoff and our great Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. They can operationalize this. President Trump is the best person to show the threats, to show the carrots and the sticks of how to solve these problems. Again, we got ourselves into a huge hole, the United States, because Joe Biden literally ignored one side of this and never tried to pick up the phone to figure out what's the problem. How do we solve the problem? President Trump is so great at being able to talk to both sides, listen, present the America First argument. Talking is a tactic. It's not the goal. And we need to be able to have diplomacy with muscle, and that's exactly what President Trump allows diplomats to have.
And that's why he's, we're up to 8 wars that he has helped end. Rick Grenell, great to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Presidential Envoy for Special Missions of the United States. Thank you so much, sir. We'll be right back.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.